So I wasn't actually sure if I wanted to do a video on how to get into pipe smoking or how I got into pipe smoking, because my last video about tobacco pipes is so popular, currently at 199 views. Um, Ultimately, I decided to go with how I got into it, because I feel like if I did a video on how to, somebody with more experience than me would be like, actually, you should do this, or you shouldn't do that, because... So I decided I'd just, I talk about what works for me and what I did and how that all came into play. So, basically, as long as I can remember, my dad has always smoked a pipe. It's never been anything super heavy, just once in a while, which is kind of how you're supposed to do it. And I always liked the smell of it, even as a kid. I think it was probably 12 years old was my earliest memory of him smoking one. And I always thought, hey, that smells pretty nice. But it was never a thing like, hey, that smells really nice, I should try that when I'm older. There was a point when I was around 14 or 15 where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get into that later. I just feel like I'm a little young to start smoking. And you think this damn thing would stay lit for a video. So he's always smoked his pipe. He let me try it once and I quite enjoyed it. And eventually, there were three of us. The one we nicknamed the host because he would always host the movie nights and stuff that, you know, we'd go to his place, get some chips and pop, and just hang out and be friends, you know. There were, I think, 10 of us in the whole movie night circle. Very rarely did we actually all get together and converge. But when we did, it was a lot of fun, even if not everyone was there. So, he was the first one out of the three of us, three members of this group that we hung out with. We had always hung out, I think it's been like 15 years since we started hanging out. And he was the first to get a pipe. I had tried my dad's pipe again a few times after I turned 17 or something. And I knew I wanted to get into it because it smelled good and it tasted nice, which are the two biggest pros to these things. And one day I decided, what the hell am I waiting for? I've got a job, I can just buy one, and that's what I did. So I was actually, out of the three of us, the last to get a pipe. It was him, our other buddy, and then myself. So the first one to get a pipe, he got another pipe shortly thereafter, so I just tried that one, because I didn't have one at that time. So whenever we would hang out, they'd whip out their pipes, and I'd just borrow his, because I didn't have one. And I actually unknowingly got the exact same pipe that he did from Amazon. I don't know, Amazon pipe. But as a starter pipe, it was pretty good. It was the Superior Ebony something or other, and I can't even find it anymore. There are other pipes on Amazon that say Superior Ebony in the name, but they're not the ones that I had. I can't find it anywhere. I actually ordered another pipe. It's got like a sailing ship carved into it. Just something smaller than this to carry around with me, because I love this Church Warden. It's great, but you know, it's kind of big to carry around. So after that, I actually ended up getting the exact same pipe he did, and our other friend, mutual friend, got the exact same pipe that my dad currently has. His first or earliest pipe that I remember broke, so he had to get a new one. 223 Italy. So him and our mutual friend, they both got 223 Italy, which we kind of laughed at because he had the same pipe that my dad had, and I had the same pipe that our other friend had. God damn, this thing. I swear, I can light it once when I'm not filming, and then it just burns for 20 minutes. So, basically, what I did is I found a cheap pipe on Amazon. I thought, I like the look of that one, and I checked... I asked the pipe subreddit to see what they thought, and they said, don't buy that one. It was a Joy Old Elf pipe, and they said it could potentially kill you, not just from the nicotine, but because they make, they're a Chinese brand that makes their pipes out of questionable wood. So I ended up going with the Superior Ebony, and I had that for several months until it broke. I actually broke it like the second day I had it. I put the stem in on a weird angle, or something like that happened, and it cracked right about along up here, which wasn't a big deal, and you know, kind of laughed at myself for it, because now at least my friend and I could tell our pipes apart. And that worked pretty well until it completely quit on me. There's something blocking right around in here, so there was no airflow. So that one died. And then I got this one for Christmas. And I really like this one. So my dad had bought rum cured pipe tobacco by Smoker's Pride, which is what I got in here right now, with a bit of Mr. B's Canadian Winter. Yeah, and really good. I like it. So I got the two mixed in there, just to see. I've also found that smoking tobaccos is different if you take the filter out or put one in. I have not found filters that fit this thing yet, so I don't have one. I like it either way, personally. So my dad managed to buy a 12-ounce bag for like $30 on the Indian Reserve nearby. You can buy a 4-ounce bag of Mr. B's for the same price, basically. So there's significantly more pipe tobacco for around the same price, and it's just so much cheaper because it's on the reserve. I bought cigars there once. They were not good. First cigars I ever had, and I'm like, these aren't good. I knew they weren't going to be good because they were like $2 cigars, and someone told me that like anything under $10 isn't really worth your time. But I wouldn't buy them again, but I wouldn't turn them down if someone offered me one. I also get little comments all the time. I was outside. I don't remember if I told this story or not already. Outside the Zombie Zellers in Ottawa, and a lady came up to me. She said that she was talking to her husband the other day how no one really smokes a pipe anymore. And I'm standing there leaning against the car, waiting for my mom and sisters to be done. And, I kind of laughed and said, I just like these things more than cigarettes. And another time I was walking to work, I was a little early, so I was just wasting time walking up and down Main Street smoking my pipe. And a lady, I saw her over here on that side of the road. I crossed the road, and she stops me and tells me how her husband used to smoke a pipe for a while until he switched back to cigarettes because they stopped making his favorite pipe tobacco, which kind of sucks. It's kind of sad when your favorite pipe tobacco stops being made. And the only places he could find it was like twice the price as the original. So, we had a chuckle about that, and she asked me if I was enjoying my pipe, and I said I was. She said she'd never seen a long one like this. And not a lot of people know that long pipes like this are actually called church wardens, which I've mentioned before. But, whatever. And, we kind of laughed and carried on with our day, but it's little comments like that I really like, because I've never gotten negative feedback for smoking this thing in public. The closest thing that I've gotten to negative feedback is my girlfriend actually saying that she doesn't think pipes look cool, but I also don't think she's ever smelled pipe tobacco. Because like this smoke here, this smells really good. I don't quite like it. So if you are looking into switching from cigarettes to tobacco pipes, there's not as much nicotine in these. So if you smoke for the nicotine, well, prepare to be disappointed, I guess. But you're also going to be, for some people, overwhelmed with all the flavor. Because I tried cigarettes and they were gross. They were boring, really. Like, they didn't taste like anything. I tried Belmonts, which are supposed to be nice, but I didn't find them nice. I'm also getting really good at blowing shapes with my pipe. Like, I'm getting really good at clouds, if you saw that. But yeah, so if you're getting into it, you're switching from cigarettes, and if you smoke cigarettes because you want the nicotine, well, there's, like I said, not as much in these. So if that's going to be a problem, well, I would recommend, if you know somebody who smokes a pipe, try theirs first, see if you like it. Or find a corncob pipe. Now, I've never owned a corncob pipe and I've never smoked one, but from what I hear by reading forums and stuff, they're really good. They're cheap and they smoke like kings, as someone once said. So if you're not sure you really want to get into it, get a corncob pipe. Because at least they range from like $12 to $15 in store. You can find them for like $10 to $20 on Amazon. You can even get like bundles, so you get like 3 or 4 pipes, and they're literally just made of a corn cob. So you could probably make one at home if you knew what you were doing. And they're probably worth it, I would assume. I've heard they're really good. I swear I can get this thing going for 20 minutes at a time when I'm not filming. But yeah, if you get a corncob pipe, they burn really well, and you're not wasting a lot of money if you end up not liking it. Or you could just do what I did, buy a cheap kind of no-name brand pipe off Amazon. The one I got was pretty good. I would link it down below, but I can't find it anywhere. and I really enjoyed it. I didn't even have to buy new pipe tobacco because my dad had it. There was almost 30 ounces in there, and no, that's not right. Sorry, there were almost 12 ounces. That makes more sense. That'd be over a pound of pipe tobacco. There were almost 12 ounces in there, and I basically had it to myself because he didn't like it that much. Which I actually prefer this stuff over the other stuff that he bought that he prefers. So it worked out in the end. So I enjoy smoking these, like if I have to walk from here to there, and I just, I whip it out and I start smoking it along the sidewalk or something. I don't smoke it around kids because, it's still nicotine. There is still nicotine in here and it's still smoke. And there still is that risk of cancer. Not as great, not nearly as great as cigarettes though. And in my opinion, certainly tastes a hell of a lot better than vaping. But yeah, I get strange looks. People, like, I can see through most car windows and they're just staring at me as I walk by and they're driving by, and it's great. I love it. Definitely saw a guy smoking his big old fat cigar on the sidewalk the other day. He looked like he hadn't showered in a while, but there was something sticking out of his mouth and it was about cigar shaped and there was smoke coming out behind him, so I wanted to go up and say hi and just talk about cigars for a while, but I didn't know him and I didn't have a lot of time anyway. Plus, it would have been super weird. So yeah, it's kind of a rambly explanation on how I got into pipe smoking. So try a friend, if you know someone that smokes a pipe and you want to get into it, try that. Buy a corncob pipe if you don't have one and you want to get into them because they're cheap and they smoke really well. And that's all I really have to say for now. If you're wondering whether or not it's worth it, think of it this way. I can't find any cons to smoking these. Other than if you lose or break the pipe, you can't just pull out another one from a packet and, just use that. Unless you have another one on hand. So, up front, they're more expensive. But in the long run, I think these are probably cheaper because you don't have to keep buying them as much as you do cigarettes. And people call you all kinds of things. I've been called Popeye, like Popeye the Sailor Man. He eats spinach and his arms get all big. And Oswald the First was another one at school. I think I know why, because I'm busy talking and not smoking it as much. Yeah, that's a pretty good cloud if I do say so myself. So yeah, like I said, definitely try a friend's if you can, or get a corncob pipe. Even a cheap wooden pipe from Amazon like I did. I think mine was like $26 when it was all said and done, and that lasted a few months. My coworkers all said they like it. Some random people on the sidewalk said they liked it. People at school said they liked it. And even when people ask if they can try it, I always say yes, because, kind of people that ask are the kind that are vaping or smoking cigarettes. So I'm like, yeah, go ahead, try it, because they taste so much better. But like I said, if you smoke for the nicotine, you're not going to get as much out of these, but there's certainly a lot more flavor. And people who smoke pipes generally don't smoke them for the nicotine anyway. They smoke them for the relaxing experience. Because when I smoke a pipe, I'm pretty relaxed, almost no matter what I'm doing. I feel pretty relaxed right now. So yeah, if you're looking to get into it, I would definitely try it. Corncob pipes are cheap. Tobacco, if you don't have any, that's a little more expensive. If you go to a reserve, like what my dad and I do, you can get a 12-ounce bag for $30, or if you go to, there's a place in town, a mall that sells tobacco pipes and, pipe tobacco as well. They sell it for like $30 or more for a 4-ounce bag, but that's probably nicer tobacco anyway. So yeah, I definitely recommend trying it out. And if you don't like it, well, they're not addictive. And if your parents don't know you smoke, which mine do, by the way, they're not going to smell it on you. Because pipe tobacco it doesn't linger when you smoke it. But speaking of lingering, I feel like I've been lingering here, wasting your time long enough. That is, of course, assuming that anyone's made it this far in the video, which I would assume not. So I'm probably just going to end it here. And I guess I won't see you in the next one.